Hey everybody, it's Connie, and this is going to probably be one of my more controversial posts because I know people have strong opinions about this. On both, well, yeah, I haven't seen too many people with my view. I guess at least the people on the way I think of this don't voice their views as loudly, maybe or something. But I've been giving it a lot of thought lately, and my views have kind of evolved over time. And so stay tuned for our topic, which is going to be blind people sometimes amazing, and I think sometimes they are. I think we're all amazing sometimes. But anyway, more on that in a moment. First, I just wanted to, though, tell you that I recently posted a Convos with Kim that I recorded when I was visiting her in Montana a couple weeks ago, and we were both in the same room, so that was fun to do that. So be sure to check that out. And probably the next video you'll see after this will be me either in the airport or checking out Glide, which I can't wait for. I think Glide is going to be one of the most transformative technologies of our age for blind people or ever, really. Um, if what everything they envision for it actually comes to pass, which I think it will in time. So yeah, I just really can't say enough about it. And I'm sure I'll probably even have more to say once I have seen it. But also check out my Patreon at patreon.com/ gliding through blindness, and that's Patreon, where you can join and become a member like of my channel for only $5, and there would be bonus perks for people who do that, like videos and special things that I've mentioned before. So I don't want to take too much time in this video. For some reason, my eyes hasn't been working lately on the glasses, so I really hope I get to record testing it in the airport. I'm gonna just completely uninstall everything, I think, and start over because I'm wondering if the trouble may lie in the fact that I had been a beta tester and now I'm not. So I wonder if that might have messed something up, or the fact that I try to put my second pair of glasses on Be My Eyes as well, and I don't know if that's doable or not. So maybe one or both or a combination of the two kind of mess things up because now neither one of them are working. Boo hoo! So yeah, I'm gonna try. And we'll see what happens. And I'm going to try to just record the most interesting bits of my airport journey this time, like actually doing escalators and stuff like that. And how I'm able to find all that with the help of a agent or a volunteer or whatever the case might be. So anyway, getting back to today's topic, I'd really love to hear your feedback on it. And that's kind of one of the reasons I'm doing it, is to get people to interact more and share different opinions on these things and kind of have a discussion, hopefully. But yeah, you know how you see these posts on Facebook sometimes, especially if you're blind or know someone who is blind, and they might post something about like the 10 most annoying things that sighted people do, or the 10 most uh, common things to keep in mind when you're with a blind person or whatever. And usually those are really good and have some great tips. Um, and I can really relate to them. And it's a good reminder that other people are experiencing the same annoyances and frustrations as I am sometimes. But sometimes I think posts like that, if they're done too often or they're too long and drawn out, they might kind of backfire and do more harm than good. Um, if like some people might kind of be like afraid to interact with us after that because they're afraid they might do something wrong, and we sure don't want that really to be the case. I mean, it's not all that complicated, which is, I think, is the point of those kind of posts in a way. But also, if there's too many things that we expect sighted people to remember or whatever, it might be a little daunting them. And some people might think that we like see interactions with sighted people as a burden, which I shouldn't be the case. I mean, we shouldn't be separate from each other. I don't think we should commingle, and like some people even have strong opinions about whether or not you should marry another blind person like you are, or marry a sighted person. And I think it's just a matter of marrying the right person, for example, rather than whether they're blind or not. And Yeah, but I think if we just post something here and there, or whatever, as things come to mind, or if you just know a sighted person, the longer they're with you, I think they'll just automatically start to um, figure some of the things out that are more basic, or you can give them gentle reminders or whatever. Yeah, like sometimes it's annoying, of course, trying to educate people when you just want to live your life. But on the other hand, sometimes it's also good to take opportunities to just let people know how we do certain things if they have questions, or not be annoyed if they like are interested in how we might do something or whatever. And So like yeah, it just all depends on the circumstance. Like if I know I'm just gonna see this person one time and they're just like helping me turn the right direction if I got a little lost or whatever. I don't really care if they take my arm instead of me taking their arm. I probably won't make a big deal of it. But if it's somebody that I know I'm going to be seeing a lot, I'll probably just mention it that I'd rather, or if I know I'm going to be walking a long way, like in the airport, I'll just say, actually, could I take your arm? And yeah, it's just as simple as that. And then if they're curious as to why, I can elaborate more. Like, well, if you're in front of me, I can feel the terrain better and know what's coming up and stuff like that. And I'm sure it's just stuff they've never thought of. Um, so yeah, but like sometimes I even find myself doing some of the no nos. So then it makes me realize, wow, if I can even mess up sometimes, I can't really hold it against other people if they do as well. Like sometimes I'll like manhandle, quote unquote, another blind person if I want to just direct them. Like since I can't see where they are, or like say, well, no, put your left arm a little bit further ahead or whatever. It might just be easier for me to take their arm and show them what I'm talking about, or a lot of times I'll leave the room. Well, not a lot of times, but sometimes I'll leave the room too without remembering to tell. Like if there's another blind person in the room, I might not tell them that I'm not there anymore and stuff like that. So yeah, I think we just all need to try to exercise patience with each other. And but the main topic I really wanted to discuss is this point about people getting offended if sighted people call us amazing. And I can definitely see both sides of the argument, and I probably have felt both ways at times, like especially if people think that the thing I've done, if I don't really think it's that amazing. Um, but I try to just take it as the compliment they intend, and just try to be, um, yeah, gracious about it. And like I might prefer the word inspiring. I hope to inspire people to maybe do something that's a little bit out of their comfort zone. Um, and like though sometimes I think things that disabled people do really are amazing, or because it is extra hard for us to do a lot of things. And I think we should acknowledge that and kind of be proud of ourselves when we've accomplished something. Like I think it's kind of amazing that I'm able to do this YouTube channel as a blind person, because there are a lot of visual aspects to it, and I'm sure it's far less than perfect since I am blind, but I'm just showing that I'm going to do it anyway, even though it might not be as polished as you might like, or it might not be perfectly in focus or whatever. but I'm trying to make a bigger point that there might still be value in these videos, even though I'm recording them as a blind person and might miss some things. Like I think a lot of the recent demo I did on Be My Eyes from a sighted person's perspective might not be that interesting because a lot of it was out of focus because I had like my backup phone around my neck and was mostly focusing on my glasses, showing the volunteer what I was holding and stuff. And sometimes I would forget that I better show this box to the video around my neck as well so people know what I'm talking about or whatever. That wasn't my main point for that particular video was teaching blind people about doing a demo for them. So yeah, but it's still people seemed to like it, especially blind people, which was my goal. And so but yeah, I mean, I think I try to compliment everyone, whether they're blind or sighted. Like if somebody is an amazing cook, um, I tell them that, and if someone is, because it's especially since cooking isn't really something I like to do much. I'm just annoyed and always want to take shortcuts. And then, of course, the food isn't as quality if you just want to do everything the simplest way or whatever. So I'm not afraid to admit that. But when I go to someone else's for dinner or whatever, and they've really gone out of their way, I think it's nice to really draw that out and or bring it to their attention that I appreciate it and um, all their effort or whatever. And um, so, like, and it also depends on people's just differing circumstances. Like, if there's a newly blind person who's afraid to travel on their own or maybe even go outside of their house is a real chore for them, it would be amazing if they actually did that one day. And we should, I would praise them because I mean, it's a big deal for them, even though it might not, a person who was born blind wouldn't probably think twice about it, but for someone who has seen all their life and suddenly can't anymore, it's a huge accomplishment. And so, yeah, that's just kind of how I look at it, but I'd like to hear your views as well, because I definitely think um, people can go too far with it, and that can kind of like the view up point I've heard is like it can lead to discrimination or whatever if people assume that we aren't capable of anything, and instead they should just assume that we can do anything, which I definitely believe. Like until they know otherwise, the default should be to assume that we can, even though you might not know how, just assume that there's a way that we've thought of or whatever. Um, but I just think technology or whatever will enable disabled people of all kinds to go out in the world more and mix more with other people. And then it will just, like I think this glide will draw a lot of attention. And some people might be embarrassed by that or whatever. But I'm just going to look at it as a opportunity for people to learn and but I'm sure it will attract a lot of attention. um, and so yeah, but sometimes I will just tell people, just kind of jokingly or whatever. Well, no, it's not really that amazing. I just might have to listen a little, use my ears a little bit more. Like to, for example, what's a good, like for um, facial expressions. Like some people think that it might be a lot harder for blind people to know what a person is really thinking because we don't have the visual aspect or whatever. And I'm sure there are some cues that we couldn't pick up on, but there again, I think we've also trained ourselves just intuitively by going through life. We can tell just by voice, which a sighted person might not pick up on as easily, like when you're saying one thing and really mean another thing. A sighted person might just go by your visual um, appearance, like that you might look away or whatever. the case might be if you don't really mean what you're saying, or um, but they might not even really hear the voice difference, whereas a blind person would be more in tune to that. Um, so yeah, like, but I think like my brother, the way he can play so many different instruments is amazing at such a professional level. Um, but for him, it's just more natural. But I don't think it has anything to do with his blindness. I mean, I think blindness might have contributed to he might have spent more hours listening to music than if he were sighted, just because it was an auditory thing that he gravitated toward. Um, but yeah, and I think like my friend Laura has this amazing geographical ability, and she can often tell like exactly where we're at when we're riding in a car or whatever, even though she can't see either, and she just has like this mental map of our town where we live in her head, and knows the various streets, and can often recommend to sighted people like which route would be the easiest, or like why didn't you turn back there and stuff like that, which I think is just pretty cool that she's able to do that. And like my brother Reed has this phenomenal memory. Like one time he had to memorize like 40 songs in a day for this band that he was auditioning for, and like I could never do that. So um yeah, think that's just cool when people have kind of like talents like that. um and so anyway, I think I will probably say goodbye for now. And that was my main gist. So hopefully I was being clear and not confusing people. Um, and like I said, I can see both sides, but that's just kind of my 2 cents, and probably a perspective you haven't heard as often as the other perspectives. So just something to chew on, and be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.